another week of training. This is Mitch, a blue belt at our gym. There's another video before of him. We're just warming up here. I'm doing a lot of static passing, locking us into position and then waiting for your response. And so one thing I noticed already that was a big improvement from last time was you're being very intentional and considered with all of your movements. There isn't any herky-jerky random movements. Everything is very well-intentioned, and you're dealing with the stronger grips that I present to you with movement and leverage, which is a really good improvement since last time. So you can kind of see my passing approach. I'm using my hands to demobilize your hips and then climbing up with my legs on your legs in pinning positions. And I'm being cognizant of putting pressure on your torso to keep you flat and then in between and outside of your knees. First body lock of the day. I would suggest trying to get into a closed guard or K guard scenario where you're pummeling your feet outside of my hips. That will make it so I have to change my grips up. You got there almost a couple of times, but it's just something to look out for. Opened up with a little foot sweep. I tried it on you. Didn't really work though. You read that beautifully. And then the in and out motion, I was doing a little more level changing, and I was trying to set up some foot sweeps, but I ditched into more traditional wrestling a couple of times today. So one thing that's happening in the wrestling is you're doing a really good job stripping grips. So any kind of 2-on-1s or underhooks that I'm trying for, especially collar ties, you're doing a good job creating distance. But the one problem with that is if you don't have frames on me, I can change levels and get to your hips pretty effectively. So that's what I did right there. I noticed that you were hand fighting in a way where there was moments where there was no connection at all. And in that moment, I can dive into your hips and take you down. Just capitalizing on a bit of a tactical mistake, you exposed the back of your knee to my forearm there. You moved in a way where I was able to expose the back of your knee to the strong points of my body and then chain into a pass. But you were able to recover your guard in a really good fashion there. Really slick guard work here. You were able to catch my ankle with that hand, and so I wasn't able to punch through the knee cut, and I had to ditch into a leg locking position. Really excellent guard work there, shutting down my knee cut pass. So a couple of times today I was doing a little too much with the legs. I should have settled into more traditional leg locking positions. There were a few knee bars that I could have gone for, a couple of toe holds, and you were just a little bit better on the jump to get into the more traditional heel hooking positions. So this bouncing in and out is actually lulling you to sleep. By the time I change levels and you react, it's a half beat too slow because I'm already moving forward. Really beautiful berimbolo here. I escape into a leg locking position, but you get to my back and I have to do the Craig Jones just stand up escape. I think this was the takedown you were curious about. I definitely count that as a takedown, especially because I end up on my back. Even though this is a kind of a leg locking position, I'm not in a solid finishing position, and you're able to get out here. You can kind of see the conservative approach that I employ once there's a little fatigue. And it's really about generating force with my falling torso weight while I wrap up effective grips. And then I know I can ditch into good wrestling positions if I have control of your leg. And as long as I keep my hands together and my arms in front of me, I'm safe from a lot of attacks. But you get close with a couple of darces here and there to really reset the position. You can kind of see how defensive I'm being very cagey, but you did a really good job attacking submissions and then ultimately getting this rear naked. So this is not a great spot for your hand in terms of that underhook. I would punch it up higher so I don't have so much control of your shoulder girdle. So I was just waiting for you to sweep me there and then the punch choke. This is just some Greco that I've been working on. Upper body throws and techniques, kind of judo combined with wrestling. So you can see my approach to passing is quite deliberate. I think if I was less tired, I would move and react a little more instead of doing so much pinning. But this pinning is using my body weight, and so I have to expend very little energy to pass. And then when I get to a really good position, then I'll do a more explosive movement to settle into either a final passing position or into side control. So you can see the series of 3 attacks that I go through here. So the first is this pinch armbar. If I get the leverage right, I can finish the armbar there. But I knew you were looking for that underhook, so I let it happen again. One more time, you punch the underhook deep, and then I go for the shoulder cut. And then after you shut down the shoulder cut, I look for a dog bar, and then I look for the pass. So at this point, I'm already looking for the shoulder cut. You got that deep underhook, and then I get that locked in. You do a good job escaping, but then I go for the dog bar, and eventually I look for the pass. This was a really good arm circle that you did. Maybe if you threw your leg completely over and inverted into a choi bar, but I knew I was in such a good spot here because I had control of your leg and my forearm was completely on the ground. So I was just putting all my weight into my elbow and making it impossible to move. So that was just a little bit of strength and some structural movement. This whole final sequence starts with that foot. By pummeling in that butterfly guard, you're able to elevate me and push me to the other side using that beautiful underarm grip, and then you finish with a beautiful heel hook. But it's all set up with that inside position butterfly and then into the elevation. The one thing that makes it hard to pass my guard is that I don't really like to play guard. I like to wrestle. As soon as I grab an ankle or a knee, I'm getting to my stomach and trying to get in behind you, lifting it up and wrestling. But you do a really good job inverting as a response. I thought I could pass here, but you exposed the leg. I think the crucifix is going to be one thing I really need to solve because it's a position that you've been getting and finishing on me quite a bit recently. So best takedown of the day, really good foot sweeps, and then you hook, and then you spin and pull. Just 2-stage, really good work. Really technical. So a little secret is I pull to almost bad positions and then I work my sweeps from there because I know the major attacks from these positions and then I know how to stay safe. So basically all I'm doing is positioning my body against weak parts of your body and then being as safe as I can while progressing up and towards submissions. So again, be careful. People will just wrestle and get behind your knees. And then from here, I'm just engaging that same kind of pressure-based closed loop style guard passing. Really good attack sequence here. You get into a guillotine, hip heist, and darce. Beautiful work to the back. And then from there, you attack the back really effectively. I just use a little of my weight and a little spin. At this point, I'm really just trying to find ways to make it hard for you to move. I'm hog tying your legs and putting pressure behind your knees, so it makes it hard for you to move. But that little stuff, those little chokes to address that is going to help you. It's just it exposes that area into a side control pass. Just wanted to work my escapes, the foundational reguarding, get the leg, hike up the leg, punch the underhook, get to my side, sweep. Good work, everyone. I'll see you next week. Good rounds.